Hello. Hello, hello. Hello, Ken. How are you doing today?
Yes, I'm doing great. And this
Wonderful.
first time, yeah.
Wonderful. Would you mind turning your camera on? Is that okay?
Okay.
Thank you. How are you doing today? You okay?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Great. Wonderful. Nice to meet you. There should be a few more people joining us today. So tell me about yourself. I think this is the first time that we're meeting. Tell me about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Ken. I'm from Vietnam, and yeah, I'm working as a software engineer.
Sorry, say that again. What type of job? Do you do?
As a software developer.
Software developer. Okay, brilliant. And why do you need English for your? Why are you looking to improve your English?
Yeah, so I'm looking for the better opportunity in the future, maybe moving to other countries. That's why I want to have a better English qualifications.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. And we have a few more people joining us, so I don't really want to start any in-depth conversation just yet, because as I said, where would you like to go if you could move anywhere in the world? Where would you go?
I would like to go to Canada or Australia.
Okay, wonderful. Why Canada or Australia? Canada's very cold and Australia is very hot. So why those two countries particularly?
And that is speaking English speaking countries, and I want to improve my English there. And the people very nice and very diversity. People from and many countries they immigrate and that country. And I would like to go to US, but I heard that in US it's quite dangerous right now. Economics is going down, and the people use the gun. I'm scared about that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so tell me, Kudi Leela, is that how you say your name? Would you like to say hello?
Hi, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Would you like to put your camera on for us?
Oh no, I've got a hoodie and everything. A bit.
That's okay.
Still.
Hoodies are allowed. Hoodies are allowed.
Hold on. Let me see if I can get this to work.
Hello, Regaro. That's
hi.
Hi. How are you doing?
Hi. I'm good, thank you. It's
okay,
like a set. Yeah, sorry.
Tell us about you. Where are you? Where are you based, and why are you here?
I'm currently in Coventry, but because I've got little ones, so I'm kind of just looking something to do. But I've got Portuguese as my first language, so ideally, I'd like to teach English to the Portuguese-speaking community. So we've got Brazil, Portugal, Angola, Cape Verde, and a few other colonies that. We're kind of really eager to learn English, but I really don't have the skill, not done it before, but I've done mentoring, so who knows?
Brilliant. You've got a bit of an English twang, I have to say, so
yeah, thank you.
Nice
I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you.
Brilliant. Rogero, tell us about yourself.
Okay, so thank you very much. I really hope you to hear what I'm saying, because there's too much noise coming from the outside. So it's Saturday. They were not supposed to be here, and they are still here working. Okay, that's all right. Okay. So let me introduce myself. So my name is Ruggero. So it's a name that is not very common. That would be Roger in English. So
okay.
Ruggero. And I'm from Italy, so I'm based in Italy. I live in Genoa, and yeah, so I'm very fond on foreign languages. So English is the language that I know best, but I'm very confident even with other languages. And yeah, I studied foreign languages at school. I started out that I was very young, and over the years I practiced so on so when I had the chance to practice. Let's say that since the pandemic started out, I think that a lot of things changed, and I think that for people that wanted to practice the foreign language, it was a kind of blessing in disguise, because I think that oh my gosh. I don't know if you hear me.
Sorry, the connection went a little bit funny then, I think. Can you hear us? Okay, I'm just going to mute. Okay. Hi, Sawar. How are you doing today? You okay?
Oh, I'm okay. Thank you very much, ma'am. Nice to see you for your great arrangement. Really feeling glad.
Nice to see you too. Nice to see you too, Sawar. Sawar is one of he joined on our very first meeting and has been here every meeting since. So you're very welcome,
yes.
Sawar.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you.
No problem, no problem. Karima, would you like to put your camera on and jump on and say hello? Karima, can you hear? Hello, can you hear me? No, maybe she's feeling shy. Oh, gone. Boris is joining us as well today. Brilliant, lovely to see you all. Let's just say hello to Boris when he's... Hello, Boris.
Hi, hello, nice to meet you again.
Nice to see you again. Would you like to turn your camera on so we can see you and say hello?
Yes, but as I mentioned last time, I had and have still a little dodgy internet connection, so
Yeah.
I only can use, I hope, without some kind of interruption, my sound, system without the camera.
No problem, no problem. Okay, wonderful. Well, it's very nice to see you all today. Does anyone have any questions about business English, about how to improve your language, any specific problems that you've been having? Anyone got any questions like that at all?
I have a question, and I sent you a message via Messenger, and it is related to the process of preparing, I don't know, offers and this kind of things, according to the British, or let's say Western type of law in this kind of situation.
Yeah,
so
no,
I'm
absolutely.
curious about it. Mm-hmm.
Yes, the thing is, as far as I'm concerned, sales, and I've been involved in sales in the Middle East and Malta and London, with people from all different nationalities, and sales is sales. It's all about showing value for whatever you're selling to the people that are the ideal audience for the item. If you're selling hoovers or vacuum cleaners, then you need to show that the vacuum cleaner is effective at picking up dust to people that use vacuum cleaners, people that clean. So I'm not sure that the process is much different. Are you involved in sales, Boris?
Yes, and I'm involved in Poland, in my domestic market, and in Poland we have some kind of specific taxes and etc. And also we have to prepare offer in a specific way. We have to prepare offer, and also it is possible to prepare something which we call pro forma to invoice, and this process have some kind of stages. And also I'm interested about that nomenclature, terminology, for instance, like invoices, I don't know, this kind of things which you can use in English to preparing offers.
I mean, well, as I said, when it comes to particular legalities surrounding the products that you're selling, obviously each country is going to be a different situation. invoices as well. It very much depends on the industry that you're working in. It depends. You might invoice after the product or service has been delivered or before it's delivered. It's down to the individual country, not the individual country, actually, nothing to do with country really. It's to do with what product you're offering, the company that you're working for, who your customers are, and things like that. So it's not necessarily linked to the country that you're based in. It's to do with the product that you're selling and the company that you're working for. I mean, every country has tax, apart from Dubai that has no direct taxation, but every country has tax. Every country has their own legality. Hi, Jafar, how are you?
Great, I'm great. Thank you, teacher. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Very good. Would you mind putting your camera on again? Is that okay?
Yes, I will open.
Okay, brilliant. So does that answer your question, Boris? I know that I haven't given you very specific information, but when it comes to sales internationally, every product and service is going to be dealt with in a different way. I mean, once you have a customer who has bought frozen peas, for example, they will have a different process for someone that has bought a business consulting or an English lessons. So normally you would pay the invoice beforehand, before shipping, but if you have a good relationship with that customer, then you can arrange for payment later. And there's always going to be tax forms that you need to fill out for your country. Do you have, has that cleared up your question, Boris, or is there any other elements?
Yes, of course. I have another question related with this topic, but I don't know if it is interesting for another participants. So I don't want to, burden them this kind of thing, because I know it is a little bit specific. For me, it is interesting because I'm directly involved in this kind of business. I don't know what's about the rest of participants, and maybe they have their own questions. But from my side, another thing, it is, for instance, in Britain, because I don't know how it looks like after the Brexit. Do you have still this kind of added value tax? It's a VAT taxation, or not? Still,
no. What the big thing that's changed with Brexit is the import and export of goods to and from the UK. So whereas before there was freedom of movement between all European countries, now that is no longer the case with regards to the UK. So if you send anything to the UK, you have to do a declaration for value for the tax, and the person receiving the good will have to then pay tax based on the amount it is. And
do you mean tariff?
Pardon?
Do you mean tariffs? A specific tariffs for specific products?
Yeah, I mean, the VAT would depend on the value and what type of products they are,
okay.
I believe.
Okay.
I don't live in the UK, but I send stuff there and I receive stuff from there. And now it's there's no freedom of movement. So yeah, if you have UK customers, they will be dealt with in a different way now.
Okay.
Okay. Does anyone else have any specific questions? No? Okay.
Yeah,
well,
I have a question, ma'am.
Go for it, Sawa.
Yeah, thank you very much for answering me. And I am English lover. I want to build up my English anyhow, and regularly I'm trying, heart and soul trying for my development. But I have some problem when I have using grammar. I want to use exact grammar where ed use, where d use after the finish the word ed. I think this is the past tense. I will be use after finish the word ed, adding ed, and something have been, has been. It's my some problem like that is grammar.
Listen,
Understand?
I do completely understand. With regards to grammar, it is just practice. You need to find the relevant rules about like past tense. A lot of words you add ed to, and some you pronounce ed, some you pronounce id, and some you pronounce t. I did post a visual about that, so you can find that in the group and print it off. It's quite a useful summary for your pronunciation. But yeah, you need to find the relevant grammar rules that you're having trouble with, and then just write down sentences that are related to those grammar rules, because practice is the only way. I can't sit here and I'm not here to correct everyone's specific English, because you're here to speak. And when I speak English, my grammar is not perfect. No native speaker speaks perfect grammar when they're speaking. We often change what we're saying halfway through a sentence. It's all about communication, and grammar only really matters when you're writing. And I mean, grammar matters to a degree, but only quite superficially when it comes to present and past, because I need to know if you're talking about whether you're washing the cat now or whether you washed the cat yesterday. So it is only a very basic, it's very basic grammar that will come into play. Communication is obviously linked to 4 different sections. So there's reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Speaking and listening are very closely linked. So half of speaking, more than half of speaking, is your ability to listen and understand what people are saying. And that's both verbal cues and non-verbal cues. So the expression of people's faces and whether their hands move around and things like that. And then you've got writing and reading. Now, writing and reading are an integral part of improving your English and improving your vocabulary, because you will find new vocabulary in things that you read and things that you listen to and things that you watch. And so when you find vocabulary that is relevant to you, practicing that is the key. Otherwise, you'll learn it and then you'll forget it. It's the same with everything. We have a lot of information going into our brains every day. It's about finding the information that is relevant to you and then using it, because that will help you to remember it. So,
Okay.
Sawar, what would you like to be able to talk about?
I want to talk about for today's my work and understand. I have writing regularly 20-30 email for my official correspondence purpose, but there I feel easy about grammar using, but feeling panic when I have speaking to other people, that they are I am feeling hesitation for using my grammar.
The thing is, Sawar, if you're feeling confident with writing grammar, why do you think it's different when you're speaking? If you can write it and you're feeling confident there, there's no need to feel unsure about when you're speaking. It's less important when you're speaking than when you're writing.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am.
So
Understand. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're already doing it. So just try not to worry about the grammar when you're speaking. If someone doesn't understand you, they will say, I don't understand. And then you can say it in a slightly different way. But don't worry about the grammar when it comes to speaking and communicating. If you're writing and you're comfortable with that, that's fine. Then your grammar will be sufficient to make yourself clear. Here in this class, you always make yourself clear.
Oh, fine.
So,
thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
It's very rare that I don't understand what you're saying, even if it's not perfect in every grammatical rule. That's, yeah.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
No problem. So, Jaffa,
Okay.
how are you doing today?
Rogerio, nice to see you here.
Okay, teacher. Actually,
Rogerio.
you know,
Okay.
you know, we have a group. Maybe last month we created this group, Actually, we follow some teacher, follow some Zoom meeting, and our main strategy is repetition. During the meeting, we have heard many new vocabulary, and we need also use this how to use, how to pronounce, how to question form, we change negative form. We need practice, and we can do first. Secondly, there are so many video live stream go on everywhere, but if you can listen, I'm talking about me, I can understand some of them. But if I criticize or test my understanding, I didn't understand some words. Maybe this time I choose, for example, there is some, you can put Google drivers text, you can follow some text highlight, and it's very useful. Actually, Google Language Reactor also Joy, something, another program. You can put text other way, and you can, when you listen to this video voice, you can follow text. It's very useful.
Yeah.
Actually, it's very. Let me show you 10 seconds if you want.
No, I mean, I understand what you're saying. The thing about improving your listening skills is it takes some practice, and the beauty of today's technology is that you can actually slow down a lot of the videos that you're watching, the audio that you're listening to. So, and some of them even have transcripts. So you can actually go back and look and see what the words are and what the phrases are, and then you can then spend some time looking them up. I mean, this is the beauty of improving your vocabulary, because every day, if you do 2 words or phrases every day, you will grow your vocabulary. Some things that you watch, you will find it difficult to understand what they're saying. Native speakers speak very quickly when they're speaking to each other. And sometimes and we also merge words in together. Sometimes that's more difficult. But practice will help you to understand more words. If you particularly choose a subject, let's say, and then improve your vocabulary on that subject, and then watch more things based on that subject, the more individual words that you know, even if you don't understand every single thing that's going on, you can kind of fill in the blanks. Do you know what I mean? Jaffa?
Thank you, teacher.
Okay. Rogero, do you have anything to say?
Oh, there would be so many things to say. So yeah, I think that so there's not. Hey, Josh.
Sorry. Say that again. You turned your microphone off.
It's not a lucky morning for me. Okay. I think that so in general there's not an absolute method to step up the gear, because I think that it depends upon the level of how everyone just.
Hello.
I'm so sorry for this morning, but I think that is
No problem. No problem.
Okay, so I think that it depends upon how everyone is skilled, so how the level of knowing the language. So it depends even where you want to focus your attention to. For instance, there are people that are more skilled in the spoken language, and they wanted to. And maybe they want to just to practice into the comprehension, or people that or maybe the opposite, people that maybe can comprehend better than rather than what they perform the language. So, and obviously there's not an absolute method. There are people that maybe they find it easier to improve the language. So with the reading, for instance, there are some others that improve. Maybe watching TV, so watching podcasts and so on. So people that prefer just the technical language, and people like me, for instance, that prefer the practical language. For instance, I think that so to me, something that I found it very helpful is I have just to make a preamble that I can practice several languages, and something that really was helpful to me was to attend groups or people that had the chance to switch from one language to another, excluding my mother tongue. Because I think that something that we are very apt to do is to translate from our mother language, and that's a mistake. Because you have, in a certain way, just to arrive, I think that the target is that you have to think directly in the target language. So the very moment that you are able to think, so in the target language, I think that you nailed it. So that's what you had to do, because you have not to translate. Sometimes there are some expressions that have a completely different meaning if you translate from your mother tongue, so into the target language. So, and you have obviously to become familiar with idioms. So idioms, in my opinion, are a kind of a sort of a solution to this, because idioms are so the way that when natives speak. So the language, I've always said that I assume that the languages are not in the books. So because the books are very helpful in order just to become familiar and confident with the words, with the expression. But so it's completely different the very moment that it comes of speaking, because everything that you learned. So if I speak with you, for instance, I'm not speaking in the same way that I just what am I supposed to say? Just to tell you by heart what I read on the book. I think that it's up to me, just in a certain way, just to manage so what I know or what I learned, and to express in the best possible way. And if I wanted to practice, to become familiar with, because if I always practice with the people that have the same knowledge of English that I have, it's very difficult for me to improve. I improve the very moment that I speak with people that are more skilled than me. And speak to me, so in a more difficult way, in order just to put me to the test. It's a kind of challenge. If you remain on the same level, or you speak or you practice with people that have a lesser knowledge compared to yours, what happens? That it's very difficult for you to practice. Or if you always let's say you always practice the same words, if you always practice the same English, so you always say, so there are people that have that bunch of words and don't get out of these words. So I don't think it's very for you to practice to improve the language if you are always speaking in the same way.
Absolutely. And this is the thing. This is the reason that I said that improving your vocabulary every day and using those new words and phrases is a key part of expanding your language. And that's not just
I agree with what you're saying. What I wanted to get to is even doing what you were saying. You have to do it with the right person, because I think that if you do this and you do it with the wrong person, it's useless. So you won't get over the problem. You get over the problem if you practice with the right person. So I think that you need, first of all, natives in order to practice, or at least if they are not natives, it must be people that are obviously that master the language better than you. in order just to end these people in a certain way have in a certain way just to challenge you. So I think that must be a challenge every time that you perform with these people, because if you practice always with the same people, so people that have let's say just a lower knowledge of the language, I think that it's very, so even if you are skilled and you wanted to practice so new forms, new expressions, I think that it would be very difficult for you to perform with people that so won't understand what you're saying.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, there's always. I'm coming to you, Boris, in a moment. I see your hands up. I think that people that take English lessons from people that are not native speakers, I think it's the wrong thing to do, because I think if you're going to learn a skill, you should learn it from someone that has what you want. So if you you need to have someone that is constantly challenging you, someone that can correct you and answer your questions and provide better alternative phrases and words to what you're currently using, so that you consistently expand your knowledge. I think it's really
right. I perfectly agree with this. So I think that you need obviously someone that in a certain way. So in fact, I'm always looking for native partners. So in order, right, just to perform so my skills. And so I think that is the only way. Obviously, that I don't want to just I hope people that correct me, because you don't know how many times so people are not maybe very prone to correct you. I can understand that sometimes can be even annoying, someone that always correct. Wait a minute, I'm here because if I just say something that is not correct. So in fact, I'm attending people with a task of correct me every time that I say something that is not correct. So that's a very good starting point, because if nobody ever tells you that word is wrong, or so I think that you will keep on saying things so in a wrong way, and you don't know it. So you
same with the pronunciation. When you have a problem with your pronunciation, initially you need someone to correct you every time you say it wrong, because then you'll get out of the routine of saying it wrong and into the routine of saying it correctly. And so when you have a routine of saying something wrong, which happens a lot with pronunciation, this is very difficult to change, because you need, first of all, to have it flagged in as you're saying it, so that you know that you're saying it wrong each time, and then you can start to automatically correct. Very good point. Sorry, I just need to get to Boris, because he put his hand up a little while ago. Boris, tell me, what question did you have?
Yes, we jumped to the grammar issues, and it reminded me something. And I have a question directly related with the grammar issue. For me, it is an issue, of course. So I have a problem with creating syntax of the some kind of question, especially when the question it is not only a simply question, yes or not. For instance, could you tell me what form is correct in English? As a native speaker, it is obvious for you, but for me, it's not. For instance, when I create sentence question and something like, may I ask you, do you have any question? Or may I ask you if you have any question? So it is, I should create another syntax in like a question do, or I can create without this auxiliary word.
So you're basically saying, may I ask if you have any questions? I would just say, do you have any questions?
Okay, but if I have to, or I would like to create this kind of question with this, this first sentence.
But you're asking what a native person would say. A native person would not say, may I ask if you have any questions? They would say, do you have any questions?
Because I try to be sometimes more polite in this way.
No, but the thing is, when you say, do you have any questions, is perfectly polite in English. We don't have to. A lot of non-native speakers, they add extra words like the cup that is blue and the paper that is white, whereas we would say the white paper, the blue cup. we say it as easy as is possible. So we would never say, may I ask if you have any questions? It just wouldn't happen. Can I say, may I say? No, we would just say, do you have any questions? That's it.
Okay.
Perfectly polite.
Okay. Okay, I know that
Cut
for
it
you
out.
maybe.
We're very lazy. Native
Okay.
speakers, we like to say, that's why we merge words together, because we want to say things as you do in your language.
Okay.
I'm absolutely sure. You say things as effectively as possible.
In my case, it is not. I try to be, more. I use a lot of courtesy in my speaking, skills in my native language.
Yeah.
So it is something like that. So I know Brits have this kind of proverb called the spade the spade, something like that. So don't beat around the bush.
But it's this, yeah, we don't beat around the bush, but you will find that no native English speaker that I know, Australian, Canadian, American, no one would say, may I ask if you have any? I mean, you just said that it's similar to Portuguese. And I know people in Japan do the same thing. They're very, very overly polite. And that's the way that their language is structured. But the English language is structured short and sweet, because we are very direct people. And this is not considered impolite. Do you have any questions?
Okay.
It's not considered impolite. It's just a question. Do you have any questions? Now, I can say it in different ways. Do you have any questions? Or do you have any questions? There are different ways of saying it to make it polite or rude. But nevertheless, we would never say, may I ask if you have any questions? Because that's, may I ask, is actually a question.
Yes.
When you put two questions in the same question.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Thanks a lot. I was curious about the and thanks. It is very interesting what you said for me.
Probably the context is, as I think that makes the marks in what you're saying. For instance, if you're at the presence of Your Majesty, the Queen, for instance, probably you've been asked, we would like to know, so on behalf of the honor that we have, it would be better to know if someone has something to say. So I think that the context in a certain way is relevant. So if you are with a teacher, so obviously, so the teacher just asks you, so do you have any questions? So
actually, no. I mean, even if I went to the Queen, although obviously that's impossible now, but if I went to the King, I would ask him, do you have any questions? There is polite that, I mean, we don't have a separate set of words that we say to be overly polite. We would just phrase it slightly different. So do you have any questions? I would never say, may I ask if you have any questions? And I've spoken to a lot of important people, and I've never said, do you have any questions? Anything apart from, do you have any questions? You might make flower things up, but you wouldn't put two questions in the same sentence.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Okay.
I think that even this is something that is what it means just to experience the language. I think that sometimes even knowing what is supposed to be said in some context, I think that really makes the difference. Because sometimes, we study, maybe you study some forms, how to be polite and so on, and maybe you don't know that is completely so. If you use it, so those expressions, it's obsolete that you use those expressions in that context, even if you are polite or not.
Absolutely.
So I think that the knowing the language is what I wanted to get to. So I think that is sometimes it's not only just to learn the language, the words and the expressions. I think that you have just to soak up with the language, and to soak up with the language, it means that you have, it's a kind of cultural journey that you do.
Absolutely.
So, and speaking, sometimes talking, performing with natives. So you maybe understand more than you are supposed to do when you study in the books. For instance, so I study alone because I'm a self-learner. So I really like. So I just need from time to time. So just to perform with natives. And I really understand sometimes the real difference that there is from what I do so by myself and what I do, so what I learn from native speakers. So just watching movies, for instance. So we were just talking about grammar. In my opinion, so I think maybe it's something that it happens only to me. I really don't know. But there's a lot of things. How many times it has happened that you learn something that it's not clear and you understand it better the very moment. The things that you have learned over there that is written in a technical way, you understand it better the very moment that you just hear that thing. So maybe
absolutely
in a practical way. I remember
the whole thing about a language is it's about communication and book learning. While it is important to some degree, practical use and practical learning is far more important. And especially for children, they shouldn't be sitting doing grammar. They should be talking to each other about, I don't know, what color their toys are, because you're actually teaching them a practical method of communication, which is far more useful than sitting learning the grammar rules. The grammar rules will come. I mean, when we first teach our kids English as native speakers, we don't start with the grammar. We start with ball and then red ball, and then you move on from there. And when you get to an advanced level, I think that there will be some book learning that will be useful, but there's nothing better than practical use, and that's listening and watching native people speak and learning new vocabulary, new phrases, new idioms from that. I mean, somebody said the other day, she asked a question. I said, oh, your guess is as good as mine, which is a very well used phrase in English. Your guess is as good as mine, which means I don't know and you don't know. So we're both guessing it, but it's a very well used phrase. So it's all about, if you watch English in, English out. So watch different types of English, podcasts and TV, movies, different. Also, it depends on what, I have to say, forget all of this, because it depends on what you want to achieve. If you want to teach English, for example, you will learn a different set of information than if you're in sales, or if you want to pass an exam, or if you are already an advanced student and you want to get better. Different people will have different requirements and therefore different ways of learning, and and to achieve your goals. But whatever your goal is, you have to be clear on that goal and think about what you need to do to get to that goal in any part of life. So Ruggero, you're obviously an advanced speaker and you're at a much higher level than some of the other members of the group. So therefore you will be interested in different kinds of information than the others.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, because I think that it depends on what topic you wanted just to develop. Because it's obvious that if you wanted to become a doctor, you have just to become familiar with the medical terms. So if you want, I don't know, to become a lawyer, you have to become familiar with the judicial terms. So it's the same thing. So I think every topic has its specific words. But even when for our mother tongue, it's the same. How many times we come across with words that we have never heard before?
Absolutely.
So I don't know, in Italian, for instance, I can just mention the political terms. How many times we come across with words that we've never heard before, and so it's something that it's okay.
Same with English and American. I mean, I know nothing about the American political situation, and so if they use all the Constitution and all the rest of it, that's really no relevance to English for me, because
okay.
Yeah, same situation. But the problem is, when you're learning a language, a lot of people look at the bigger picture and go, okay, I have to improve my vocabulary, I have to improve my pronunciation, I have to improve everything. And you can't improve everything at the same time. So the key is to find some goals and go, okay, that's the area I want to improve. And once you've improved that area, move to the next one. If you're advanced, obviously it's a very different scope of goals. but have something that you want to do, you want to achieve. There's no point in learning. For me, there's no point in learning just for learning's sake about a subject like a language, unless you're going to use it. Personal opinion. Yes, Sawad, sorry, you wanted to say something.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. I want to talk with something to Rosario. Can you hear me, sir?
Rogero? So I
to
want
me,
to ask
Rogero?
you, yes,
Yeah,
he wants to
okay.
ask you a question.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much. I know you very well from the Bulgarian teacher Maria Markova's show. So I want to know something from you. Please let me know how I will improve my English. Just brief something about from your thought and think.
So you
Okay.
want me to tell you what you have to do? Oh my Lord! I think that you are starting with so in the wrong way, because it's not the others that have to tell you what you have to do. I think that first of all, it's you that you have to know what you really want to improve. So you have to start from that. It's not me that I have to tell you what you have to do. So if you start with I think that I think that it's absurd. You have to know what you want to improve, because only you are. So there is an Italian saying that there's no better doctor than yourself. So I think that you have to know what you have to improve. So I think, I don't know, maybe you wanted you know that you wanted to improve the skills in your speech. So you have it just to speak with people that put you in troubles. So you have not to talk with people, or maybe if it seems to you that so your level is always the same, it means that the people that you are talking with, to, so are wrong. You have just to go somewhere else and to find other people, so other level, and to listen maybe to something else. You have just in a certain way just to change what you are doing, because if you just keep, so if you I don't know, it's just like when you are playing, or when you are doing something. If you do always the same things, after 2 months you'll be able to do always the same things. I don't know, if you play an instrument, if you do always the same chords,
Same action,
so
same result.
Yeah, after 3 months, so you'll be able to do to play always the same chords. So if you want to improve, you have to do something else. So that is something more. The same things is for the foreign languages. So, but
Thank
it's you that you have to know. So what are the points that you have to improve? It's not me that I can just suggest you some exercises to do. This is what I can do, but not to tell you what you have to do. So it's two different things. For instance, something that I was just saying before, and I can repeat. So to me, so something that is I just found it very helpful is just to switch from one language to another. So my goal is that I have just to get rid of my mother tongue. So if you really want just a recommendation, something, it's not what you have to do. It's just what I can recommend. So it's something that you have to try. Try just to focus your attention into forgetting your mother tongue. For instance, think when you think during the day, try to think in the target language. Try sometimes just to. So what you are supposed just to say, just try to translate that in the mother tongue, so in the target language. And when you have a doubt, or you are not sure if you can translate something in that way, just take a note of that thing, and sometimes just go and search if there is a specific way in order just to translate that specific way. So it could be that sometimes there's an idiom, maybe that can be an expression that you're not familiar with. So you have in a certain way just to forget. So your mother tongue. You are in a certain way just to get away from your language. So and to soak up with into the target language. Is it clear? So because I've got a lot of noise, so I really don't know what I'm saying. So.
Thank you. Thank you
So,
very
but this
much.
is just
Yeah,
a
Rogero,
recommendation,
thank
but
you.
it's you that you have to know what you have just to improve. It's not someone else.
Okay, that's great. And ma'am, please say something. I have long time trying to join with other country people, talking with them regularly, try to join lot of meetings from the world, but I think my English not enough. I'm so fed up and hopeless. A lot of time passed, but I have not speak English correctly, confidently. Why?
As Rogero said, if you do the same actions, you will get the same results. I mean, I don't know how much time you spend. I know you come to these meetings quite frequently, but how much time do you spend growing your vocabulary and practicing maybe mirroring so that your pronunciation becomes a little clearer? How much time do you spend doing these things as well? Because just putting yourself into this situation, as Rogero was saying earlier, and using the same language and saying the same things, then you're not going to grow your knowledge. You need to grow your knowledge as well. So coming to practice is really useful, but don't put yourself into an uncomfortable situation. So when you next come, talk about something different and create some vocabulary about a different subject, perhaps. Stretch yourself. Don't say the same things each time. Stretch yourself, and then that will lead your ability to communicate, to grow.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am. And I hope that I will follow your advice, with Rogero's advice, and
I hope
will
so
do
too.
accordingly. That's great.
I have to go.
And I hope that.
It's very nice of you all to come along to today's meeting. Thank you very much. Does anyone have any final questions before we go? No? Okay. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, and hopefully I'll see you all next week.
So thanks a lot, and bye-bye. See you
Thank you
soon.
very much, ma'am, for your
Thanks.
good arrangement, good health, and good audience. That's
Thank
great.
you, Soa.
I'm
Take
happy.
care. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you soon
Bye-bye.
next week. Thank you.
Bye.